salt. But Darren Waller, Daniel Bellinger,
salt.
the two tight ends that are here. I love Darren Waller. I think he's going to tight end 6. I have him in my top 3. I have him as my tight end 3 because there are very few tight ends out there that have done what he done when he was the tight end 2. Travis Kelce has been tight end 1, tight end 2. Mark Andrews has been tight end 2, and Kittle's been tight end 2. You look at the other guys in that list. Everybody is thinking Hawkinson's going to go up. I think Hawkinson takes a step back from last year because Addison's now in there. He's going to be a lot better of a receiver than Thielen was for them last year. Darren Waller is going to be just like Travis Kelce in that offense because he is the number 1 pass catcher for the offense, with the caveat that he has to stay healthy for this full season. I get what you're saying, and I get there's a need, but when you're drafting, you can't draft based on injury. If you want to hinge your bets on that and pick up a tight end later on because of injury, go get Dalton Kincaid with high upside in Buffalo later in the 10th round. Get Bellinger in the last pick of your draft or second, 13th round because of the fact that he is still a good tight end. I mean, 12 games like prior to his injury, his eye injury, he had 3 top 10 finishes for tight ends. Bellinger did last year. So, but Waller to me has the ceiling that had the upside to be a top 3 tight end. And that's why, and the fact is you can get him light years later after Mark Andrews and Travis Kelce. And you're going to get him after Kittle. You're going to get him after Hawkinson too.
Listen, I've given you a lot of crap about Darren Waller and everything. Like, I agree with you. I think that he has the talent to be a top 3 tight end in the league and to be in the same conversation as Andrews and maybe not as Kelce. I don't think he's at that level.
No, he'd have
because
to do
the offense isn't at that level.
No, I agree.
And that's what scares me about. This is the passing offense of this team scares me. And if you're going to say, all right, I really like this tight end as a top 3 tight end in the league. Well, if you have a guy that is on a bad passing offense, is bottom 3rd in the league in a passing offense, then it's hard for me to fall in love with the tight end position there. Now, I get Waller as an athlete is fantastic, and they're bringing in a legit pass catcher for Daniel Jones, but I don't see the pathway for him to stay healthy the entire year. And then B, to have the top 3 finish because of that. So even if he misses 6 games, I mean, those can be brutal 6 games that he misses. And if you're drafting him at where his ADP is, where if you're taking him in the first 5 rounds, like that's a lot to risk on a guy. And we've seen it with other top tier positions, right? Like look at the other injuries that are scaring people away. Like Lamar is dropping down, right? Everyone's afraid of Breece Hall and everyone's afraid of Javonte Williams. And I get the hesitation with Javonte, but Waller has a history of not just significant injuries, but soft tissue injuries that have kept him out for extended periods of time. Ankle injuries, hamstring injuries, hip injuries. And that's what scares me off of him, where if I'm going to waste a 5th round draft pick on him, like I can get someone else in that position. Like I would rather pay a round higher and go get Kittle. I would rather pay a round higher and go get Hawkinson. I'd rather wait another 3 rounds and get guys like Schultz. Like he's not an avoid for me because of his talent and what he can do. Because when he's healthy, he is very good.
An elite. Would you take him over Kyle Pitts?
If at that position,
yes. So here's the thing. He's going
They're
right
going
now.
The same round.
Yeah, they're going literally right next to each other. They're 67, 68th overall. So you're talking about 6th round, 7th round pick for Darren Waller. Like to me, that's why I love it so much. Like I would, if he was being drafted in the 3rd round, 4th round as a tight end, I would say I'm off of him based on ADP. Like I know what he can do, but what you're giving. What do you say?
You want him or Lockett?
I could get Lockett the next round in the 70s. They're like, well, never mind. They're 6 picks apart. So, yeah. Well, it depends because it depends on the makeup. I would say I would take Waller. I would take Waller as my tight end because the drop off after Waller based on ceiling and opportunity is big, because you could see someone like Kyle Pitts could go for 1,000 yards and he could finally have himself 7 touchdowns this season. And then you put him in the top 5. But once you get outside of there, tight end, you got Evan Ingram, who I think is going to take a downturn from last year because you have another pass catcher there. And let's see, Pat Freiermuth. You see what I'm saying in terms of targets and yardage just plummet in that position, whereas like Pitts and Waller are the last 2 guys in that list of 6 tight ends that can see 1,000 yards and can get the targets to do it. That's the reason I like it. But if you're getting him in the 7th round, 6th round, I think it's worth it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Waller's coming over from an offense with Jimmy G or with Derek Carr that really like to use tight ends. They really were efficient in using tight ends there, and he put up those numbers. He's coming to a team with the Giants who weren't using tight ends as much, and their passing game was far inferior. So yeah, Evan Ingram, there's more talent around him, but we all expect that passing offense as a whole to increase. Do we expect the Giants' passing offense to increase from what it did last year? And if so, you're going to see less production from the wide receivers and more production from tight end. And that's where it's hard for me to get to that place where is he worth it? Because if the team doesn't use him, and yeah, I get it that Daniel Jones is just hyper-targeting him because he's a freak athlete. But if he's hyper-targeting him...
He may pull an Eli Manning. Just hyper-target one guy. I'm just saying, I think the upside's there. Again, though, if I'm drafting Darren Waller,
Daniel Jones pass that gets overthrown, and Waller's going to get hit in the back, and he's going to be out for 13 games.
I'm just saying, if I'm drafting Darren Waller, I'm also still going to hinge my bets on somebody because of his injury history. But I'm not